Module 4, Ethical Use of AI in Learning. Artificial intelligence is becoming part of our everyday life. We might use it to understand a difficult reading, organize ideas for an essay, or prepare for a test. But we may also be tempted to use it when we are tired, overwhelmed, or running out of time. Imagine that an assignment is due tomorrow and you have not started. An AI tool could produce an answer in seconds. That may feel like an easy solution, of course, but does the work genuinely reflect your own skills, understanding, and ability? In this lesson, we are not suggesting that all uses of artificial intelligence are inherently problematic. In fact, AI tools can have real value if we use them appropriately. The goal is to understand how to apply these tools effectively without allowing them to take over the learning process. The key question throughout this lesson is simple. Is AI helping you think, or is it doing the thinking for you? What are AI and language models? Artificial intelligence, or AI, is a general term for computer systems that can recognize patterns, make predictions, answer questions, or generate content. The tools students often use are powered by large language models, also called LLMs. These systems are trained using enormous amounts of written material. They study patterns in language and use those patterns to predict what words are likely to come next. That is why an AI response can sound natural and convincing. But here is an important point. A language model does not understand information in the same way a human being does. It does not have personal experience, judgment, or responsibility. In other words, AI may give you a correct answer, but it may also provide an incomplete explanation, a biased response, or something that is simply false. So when a language model offers you a polished response to your question, don't automatically assume that it's a trustworthy response. It is easy to understand why we like AI tools. They are fast, available at almost any time, and usually easy to use. Suppose you are studying biology and do not understand cell division. You could ask an AI tool to explain the concept in simpler language or create a few practice questions. That could be useful. AI may also help you brainstorm possible topics, organize a study schedule, or identify areas in a draft that are confusing. Those are real benefits, but we should keep them in perspective. AI is most useful when it helps you participate more actively in thinking and learning. The problem begins when convenience turns into dependence. For example, asking AI to help you organize your ideas is different from asking it to generate the idea for you. The question you should ask yourself is, am I truly in the driver's seat? And did I genuinely engage in the learning myself? Every school assignment is usually designed to help you acquire new knowledge or practice a skill. An essay helps you learn how to think critically while developing an argument. A math problem helps you practice a process. A lab report helps you interpret evidence. A presentation helps you organize information and develop strong communication skills. If you allow AI to complete the entire task for you, sure, you will end up with a finished product. At the same time, you also risk missing the essential practice that builds your skills and understanding. Think of it like asking someone else to exercise for you at the gym. The weights still get lifted, but your muscles are certainly not getting stronger. The same thing can happen to critical thinking. If AI always explains, decides, solves, and writes for you, your brain gets fewer opportunities to struggle with ideas, make mistakes, revise, and improve. In other words, you are denying yourself the ability to develop and grow as a learner. That struggle may not always feel enjoyable, but it is often where real learning happens. Finishing an assignment is not the same as developing the skill the assignment was meant to teach. Let's take a moment to chat about what counts as ethical versus unethical use of AI. Imagine two students who both turn to language models for help, but use them in very different ways. Their choices highlight the real difference between using AI as a learning tool and using it in a way that crosses the line. Ellie has to write an essay about the effect of social media on teenagers. Before drafting, she opens a chat with AI and asks questions like, "Do you think teens feel pressure to post constantly?" Or, "What are some reasons social media might affect sleep?" As the conversation unfolds, Ellie challenges AI's points, adds her own examples and even disagrees when something doesn't match her experience. She uses the dialogue the way a thoughtful student might use a peer discussion, to clarify her thinking, explore angles she hadn't considered, and refine her argument. When she begins writing, the ideas are hers. The language model simply helped think through them. Jasmine, on the other hand, copies and pastes the assignment instructions into the AI tool and says, "Write the complete essay for me." Jasmine then submits the response with only a few changes to make it sound more human. In this situation, both students used a language model, but they did not use it in the same way. Ellie remained responsible for the thinking and decision-making, using AI only as a sounding board to support her process. Jasmine, on the other hand, allowed the language model to take over the process entirely. And by doing so, she deprives herself from the opportunity to think, learn, and grow. Always verify what AI gives you. AI-generated information should never be trusted blindly. Language models sometimes create information that sounds believable but is not true. They may even invent an article, create a quotation that no one actually said, or provide a fake citation that leads nowhere. Imagine submitting a research paper with 3 sources that do not exist. Even if the AI created them, your name is still on the assignment. That means you are fully responsible for checking the information that a language model generates for you. For example, before using a source suggested by AI, locate the source yourself and verify it. Confirm that the author, title, and publication are real. Read the source carefully, understand it, and annotate it, and make sure it actually supports the claim you are making before you incorporate it into your narrative. Note that AI may also leave out important perspectives and in many cases repeats falsehood and bias found in its training material, so a useful habit is to treat AI responses as a starting point, not as final evidence. Always ask yourself, how do I know this is accurate? Then verify it using credible sources. Ask yourself whether the tool is helping you learn or helping you avoid the work. In other words, could you explain the final answer in your own words? If your instructor asked you to discuss your argument, would you understand every part of it? Could you explain the final answer in your own words? And if your instructor asked you to discuss your argument, would you understand every part of it? Also consider who is making the important decisions. Are you choosing the ideas, evaluating the evidence, and deciding what belongs in the final product? Or are you simply accepting whatever the AI generates for you? You should also ask whether you have checked the facts and sources. One of the most useful questions to ask yourself is, would I feel comfortable explaining exactly how I used AI to my teacher or professor? If the answer is no, that may be a warning sign that the tool is doing more than supporting your learning. AI expectations may vary by school, instructor, course, and assignment. Always review your school's academic integrity policy along with the specific instructions for your class. Make sure you understand what AI use is permitted, what must be disclosed, and what is prohibited, and when in doubt, ask. AI rules are not the same in every school, class, or assignment. One instructor may allow AI for brainstorming, but not for writing. Another may allow grammar feedback, but require you to disclose that you used the tool. Another may not allow generative AI at all. Even within the same course, the rules may change. AI might be allowed while preparing for a test, but prohibited during the test itself. That's why you should read your course syllabus, assignment instructions, and your school's academic integrity policy. Therefore, you should never assume that because AI was allowed in one situation, it is allowed everywhere. When the expectations are unclear, ask before using the AI tool. You might say, can I use AI to brainstorm ideas for this assignment? Or am I allowed to use AI to review my grammar after I write the draft? Asking shows responsibility and integrity. It is much better to clarify the rules before submitting your work than to explain your decision afterward. Let's review. AI can support learning. It may help explain a difficult concept, generate practice questions, organize ideas, or provide feedback, but AI should never replace thinking. When students rely on AI to write, solve, interpret, or decide everything for them, they may finish assignments without actually developing the skills those assignments were meant to teach. And when a student lets AI produce the work, then makes a few surface-level edits to make it sound like theirs, that's considered plagiarism and a violation of academic honesty. Responsible AI use keeps you actively engaged. You should still make the key decisions, verify the accuracy of the information, and be able to explain and defend every part of the work you submit. AI can support your learning, but it cannot replace your responsibility to learn, think, and produce original work. Lastly, you need to follow the rules established by your school and instructor. When expectations are unclear, ask. Academic integrity means that your work honestly represents your effort, your understanding, and your choices. AI may change the tools we use, but it does not change the importance of honesty, responsibility, and independent thinking.